Check, 1 2. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. Man, my camera is very washed out right now. Let's see if I can fix that. On the program today, not much. Honestly, it was a very slow weekend as far as movie news goes. So it's not like a whole lot. There we go. That's a little better. Too dark. My giant shiny head. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Yeah, not too much in the world of movie news that happened over the weekend, but I did pull together a couple stories. So this may not be a nice hour-long show this morning. This might be a shorter one, but we'll see. You know, we live in a world on YouTube programming where we don't have to adhere to time limits. So we do what we do. We go as long as we want. If the conversation's good, we keep it longer. So it's up to you guys. I welcome all questions and comments in the chat. I like to read them off if this is your first time here. So for sure, give your opinions on everything we're talking about, because I definitely like to keep the conversation going. I apologize for the beard and the hair. It was Mother's Day yesterday here in the US for any of our out of the states viewers. And just didn't get a chance to. It's the whole staying inside look right now. Everyone's got it, which is awesome. So before we get going, let's say hello to everyone showing up first thing here in the morning. Mike Porter, good morning. James, USMC Rebels, good morning. Harvey Mireless is here, good morning. Star Wars Santa is here, good morning. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope everyone out there had a great weekend. I myself had a good weekend. Mother's Day. I'm getting a fence installed in my house, and part of my yard and my backyard is very hilly, and we got this tree removed, so now there's roots, and I've been doing manual labor removing roots. It's a good time. It's a good workout for sure. All right. Even before we get in, James says, had the coffee, dropped the kids off at the pool. Let's do this. James has his morning ritual for sure. Star Wars Center says, I'm hoping they use Temuera Morrison for Rex instead of Boba Fett. We will be discussing that. That is one of our top, headline stories. Boba Fett joining the Mandalorian. That is something we are definitely going to get into. Trinity's here. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Second Street Marvel has arrived. What else do we got? We got Seth Rogen's Sarah Silverman in a new animated comedy. Talk about that. If we have time, I want to jump. Well, I know on Friday, very slightly, we talked about the other streaming wars, which was live TV. Variety put out some very interesting numbers over the weekend. If we get time to it today, I would like to talk about that, but we'll see how it goes. I'm very fascinated on the future of streaming when it comes to these regular television channels, because and the reason why I'm so fascinated about it, well, I'll save it. Just very quickly, I watched a lot of freaking Food Network and HGTV over the weekend. It was Mother's Day weekend. I relinquished the remote this weekend, so it was a lot of Food Network and a lot of HGTV, and I have opinions about, man, these are things people still watch, and how are they going to get them? So maybe hopefully we'll get to touch that today, but I should probably change the song for this one. I don't know. I need more of a, not to be dramatic, but I don't really want a happy song when I do the first story. We'll touch on this real quick. It's unfortunate, but Ben Stiller has confirmed that his father, Jerry Stiller, has passed away. In a tweet that Ben wrote, he said, I'm sad to say that my father, Jerry Stiller, passed away from natural causes. He was a great dad and grandfather and the most dedicated husband to Anne for about 62 years. He will be greatly missed. Love you, Dad. That was very sad news to hear waking up this morning. Now, for those of you who may or may not be familiar with Jerry Stiller, basically mostly two huge famous roles, which the pop culture probably knows him for. First is the father on Seinfeld, and the second is the father of King of Queens. Here, I popped up the article, just a random article, just for those who may or may not, guest starring, on Broadway, guest starring TV, best known for Frank Costanza's on Seinfeld, Leah Remini's father on King of Queens, and Zoolander's manager in the comedy, directed by his son, Ben Stiller. Look, I'm on the record as saying that I'm not the biggest Seinfeld fan. I 100% appreciate it. I'm not gonna trash on it. I don't think it's dumb. I don't think it's garbage. It just never really hit me. It just never got to me. There are singular episodes that I could watch any day of the year, any year, and laugh out loud. There are a bunch of them. There are a lot of like scenes in episodes that I really enjoy. But as an overall series, it never connected with me. But that's okay. It doesn't have to connect with me for me to understand the cultural relevance and the love that millions of people have for this show. So you're not gonna see me trash it. It just never really hit me. So, but I will say about Seinfeld and the show itself. To me, I enjoyed the individual players in it more than I liked the collective body. So I was big. Seinfeld. I was always a huge Seinfeld fan, like a Jerry Seinfeld fan. I really enjoyed his comedy, his stand-up. But the show, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. It just didn't get me. But I liked the individual. So I liked Jerry Stiller as the father, if that makes sense. Now, I actually was a real big King of Queens watcher. I thought that show was really funny. Maybe it's because I lived in New York City for a while. So I got it. Like, it connected to me, even though the Seinfeld did take place in New York too. Granted, I don't know. I always thought King of Queens was very funny, and I always thought Jerry Stiller was very funny in King of Queens. So there's that. And I don't think I'm in the mood today to talk about Zoolander. James says, rip the king of Festivus. Mike says, oh no, that's terrible. Big fan of Jerry Stiller. Yeah. That is terrible. No, he's Maury Ballstein of Balls Models. What is that? Maury Ballstein. What is that from? Was that the Zoolander character? That's probably the Zoolander character, right? I'm not big on Zoolander. I've also seen it multiple times to actually make a personal opinion on it. I'm not big on Zoolander. I'm sorry. Not for me. Come on, give me a little tinkle, tushy squeeze. I feel like these are lines from Zoolander, and I feel like it's a comedy you all seem to enjoy. I have people in my own house who love Zoolander. I know people love it. You better be nervous saying you don't like Zoolander. Here's what I'll say. Like Seinfeld, it didn't work for me. And I have seen it multiple times to give it a shot. It wasn't a one time I watched it and then I said no thanks. I have given it a couple tries and it's just not for me. But hey, I think with that movie, I'm probably in the minority. Maybe. I don't know. All right, let's move on to our headline. Oh, thank you, James. Look at this. He's with me. It's okay. I mean, again, it's one of those things where I'm not going to say it's total garbage, even though I probably could. I could easily make an argument that Zoolander is terrible. But what I'll say is there are certain things that I find enjoyable out of it. Like the whole thing with the miniature models, that's pretty funny. That scene was pretty funny. I do like the stuff with Will Ferrell. So that's pretty funny. But as an overall whole, it's okay. Trinity's out. He's unsubbed. We are on episode 9 of this show. I can't believe we've done this 9 times already. Yeah. So that's a good record. It's a good run, Trinity. 9 episodes. I like it. You made it this far. He was in a comedy team with his wife for years, showing up on variety shows. Yes. Jerry Stiller, you're speaking of. Yes. Yeah, he was a lifer. He was a lifer for sure. Extremely talented. It's a shame. But you know what? And I'm not saying that all of us here are the same age, but I believe that a lot of us are around the same age. And it's unfortunate that we're now getting into the time period where we're going to start with all these celebrities that are going to be passing are going to be celebrities that we grew up watching. And that's, I don't know, that's sad. That's real sad. You know, when we were younger and we heard, you know, celebrities going, and our parents were always like, oh, that's sad, or discussed it. Then it never really connected with you for your own age and your own mortality, and not to go too deep, but hey, it's fine. We can go deep. Yeah. I do have more gray than you. That's right. That's why I shave it. Because if I don't, I will look like Star Wars Santa. Although, truth be told, the wife likes it. She likes the salt and pepper, and I hate it. So, it's going. I'm going to try to do it tonight. We'll see if I have time. I will be 57 on Wednesday. Mike, 57. You look good in your profile pic there, Mike, if that is you. We'll have to, hold on, mental note. I got to write this down. I don't have anything to write on. Wednesday, we're going to have to wish Mike a happy birthday. Let's all remember that. I'm sure Mike will remind us it's his birthday, but if not, let's just make sure. Santa, 52, completely white, with beard. Au natural. If I let this thing go, it would definitely go white. By 52, that would definitely go white. My grandfather, they say your hair is based on your mother's father. That's what they say. It's the old wives' tale. And so if that's the case, he was balding and white by the time he passed away. So that's what I have to look forward to in my future. Cannot wait. James clocking in at 41. James says, not true. My maternal grandfather died with thick black hair. I got dad's lack of hairline. Well, yes, I'm not saying it's like 100%. That's why I said it's a wives' tale. It's not 100% science-based material. It's just what they say. So no, in all cases, it will not. In my case, it seems to be, though. So that's what I'm going with. Yeah, no, I turn, believe it or not, for as look at this old face and this old beard with this white hair. I will be turning 40 in July, so I'm about to cross that line. So we'll have a nice party in a couple months. My chat won't even let me censor myself with symbols. Do I have? I don't think I have the censor on. I'll have to look into that. I might have some basic. Adam's still wet behind the ears. Dude, Trinity, aren't you like 42? I don't remember you being a old seasoned man here. So, all right, let's get to our headline topic here before we start boring the hell out of people with how old we are. The Mandalorian has apparently cast Boba Fett to return. Temuera Morrison, who originally played Jango Fett in the Star Wars prequels, most notably, well, I think only Attack of the Clones, is playing the role. Not too much information as far as what his role is, what it's going to be. I did read a different article that said it was probably going to be a very short appearance, which probably means a single episode. And I want to know what you guys think about this. I know before, and let me see if I can scroll back up to see. Yeah, here we go. Star Wars Santa earlier had said, and James is saying it right now, hoping that they use Temuera Morrison for Rex instead of Boba Fett. I don't think that's happening. I think he is going to play Boba Fett. I know. Why not both? That's a good question. I don't think we're ever going to see Rex. Not in live action, not with this. I mean, maybe we see Rex, but it's not going to be him. They may get somebody else who looks like him. I mean, it wouldn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Honestly. To be honest, I look, I'm happy Temuera Morrison is playing him. I mean, good for him for getting Ambassador. Good morning. Good for him for landing the role, getting cast, being relevant in Star Wars. All for it. But it makes no sense. Boba Fett is not a clone. He's not a clone. So getting the guy who played the clones, whose face is synonymous with the clones, like, it's all confusing to me sometimes, because okay, he is an unaltered clone, which means he isn't necessarily, like, from everything that I've seen from Attack of the Clones and from Rebels of him being in there, he looks nothing like the clones. That's my only thing. He doesn't really look like them. From being a kid there and then being, slightly older kid. Yes, okay. I will correct what I'm saying. He is an unaltered clone, okay? The chat, I get it. I misspoke. I apologize. Crushing me here. I apologize. Unaltered clone. Thank you, James. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, Star Wars Santa. You all proving me that I'm an idiot. I misspoke. Unaltered. My point. Thank you, James. Yes, he is a clone. Okay. My point, if I can circle back, is correct. An unaltered clone. which means I don't buy that he would grow up looking exactly like Temuera Morrison. But I'm nitpicking. It's fine. I don't really care. What I really want to know is who here is excited to see Boba Fett? I got a hand raised in the back over here from executive producer wife. She's excited. I gotta say, I'm on the fence about my level of caring, and zero to do with anything related to The Mandalorian, because I hands down love this show. I do. I love this show. I think it's fun. I think it's a breath of fresh air. I think it's got the tone that I'm looking for. I think it's got characters that we have connected to. I think we have a great crew behind it. I think we have a great upcoming crew of directors. Very excited for it. I love the show. But I've never been a big Boba Fett fan. Now, truth be told, I never read the majority of the EU novels because they were never canon. I'm glad that I am so happy that over the years, people have gotten hours and hours of enjoyment reading the ancillary stuff, but I never really got into it because it was never canon. It never was. I know there were different levels of canon, and I know a lot of people try to argue that it was, but it at the end of the day, even Lucas didn't consider it canon. It was canon adjacent, right? It was like, if you were a big Star Wars fan, you knew the stories and you kind of played headcanon, but it wasn't actually canon. And for whatever reason, that didn't really connect with me. Now, I did read a lot of the comics, and I've said that on multiple times on different shows and stuff. I was more of the EU comic reader, so I read a lot more of the comics than I actually did the novels. So I can have a discussion about the comics more than I can with the novels. So I was never a big Boba Fett fan. I know I at this point I know all the stories. I know how he escapes the Sarlacc pit, etc. Tales of the Bounty Hunter. I get it. All that stuff. That's some good coffee. Well needed this morning. So my exposure really of Boba Fett is largely the movies, and I thought the Return of the Jedi did extreme disservice to the character. Was he cool and mysterious before then? Yes, 100%. Did he do much? No. For this supposed, one of the greatest bounty hunters in the galaxy, man, I thought he died like a bitch, if I'm being honest. He could have died. Look, I didn't care if he died. If he dies to the heroes, he gets bested by your Luke Skywalker, your Han Solo, any one of them. If that happened, like, I'm fine with it. You have your bad guys lose to your good guys. It's classic tropes. It's fine. That's Star Wars. I have no problem with that. It's just how. Like, he gets accidentally smacked in the back and then he goes. I don't know. It's the one thing of that whole sequence that I hate. The whole Jabba's barge scene is stellar except for two things. The Boba Fett thing, which I thought was lame, and I'm sorry, but the fight choreography, oof. classic 80s fight choreography where you are about 5 feet away and you're swinging at somebody and then they pretend to get hit. It's not good. Yeah. Star Wars Center says origin of the Force kick. Yes, 100%. Here, let me go back to the chat here, because I know you guys are throwing tons of stuff in here. Bastard said, I picked up a couple trades and I think you'll dig Fatal Attraction's X-Men and Executioner's song. Honestly, I'm interested to see what they will do for Boba Fett in season 2. I'm interested. I'm not hyped. Like I'm not like hype level 10, 9,000. You know, like that's not how I feel right now. But I know that John Favreau. I almost said Jean Favreau. John Favreau is a huge Boba Fett fan. Do you remember? Oh, let me see if I can find it. John Favreau, Boba Fett. If I type John Favreau, Boba Fett, it's not gonna give me what I want because it's been so long. A while ago, I mean, when Boba Fett was, here it is. Oh, I did find it. Awesome. Okay. Come on, Reddit. Loading. Open image in new tab. Maybe this will be faster. All right, let's see. Let's see if this shows up for you guys. Oh, perfect. Okay. Remember he posted this when the show first started? When we literally had no information. It says The Mandalorian. After the stories of Jango and Boba Fett, another warrior emerges in the Star Wars universe. Oh, this is it's not the whole thing. What the hell? Hold on. There we go. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travails of the lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. And remember that whole discussion about, John Favreau, knock. Remember Boba Fett's not a Mandalorian and Jango Fett's not a Mandalorian. And we had that whole conversation. Dude's a huge fan. So do I think that finally we're going to get the Boba Fett that we were promised, that is the same hype level that everyone's giving him throughout the years? I think we finally will. I think after The Mandalorian, we can finally put to rest whether or not Boba Fett is a badass. I think he's going to be a giant badass in this show. Just my opinion. I think we're gonna get that. So if you're a fan of Boba Fett, if you've been for 30 years talking about no, Boba Fett really is a badass and he's the greatest bounty hunter and he's worth all the trouble, then I think we're going to get that. I think we're going to get a really cool fight between him and the Mandalorian. James says, now someone is going to make a reaction video to you telling the truth about the EU. If only I was that popular. The Rex speculation with Ahsoka makes sense. I'm hopeful Rex, but expect it will get Boba Fett. I'll just have to deal with it. Yes. Look, with the Ahsoka thing, it makes sense, but I just don't know. It would be a nice surprise for sure. Probably in one show. If he stays in, he will take the show away from the Mandalorian. Yeah, that I agree. And the report that I read was it's just going to be a minor thing, which means probably one episode. I'm not going to go straight hot take like I did before, because I think everyone is thinking the same thing. James says, I loved particular books in the EU, but but made them my headcanon. Never cared enough to argue with the actually. Yeah, me too. It's fine. Everyone can have their own headcanon. It doesn't matter. Make Star Wars what you want it to be. There's so much out there. Boba Fett is the ultimate underutilized character, even worse than Phasma. I believe that he is completely underutilized. I would not say it's worse than Phasma, though. Phasma is way worse. Phasma was basically marketed as the next Boba Fett, and being that everyone knew that Boba Fett was an underutilized character, this was advertised as sort of a makeup for Boba Fett being so underutilized, and they still underutilized her even more. So I don't know that I agree, Santa. Yeah, but Leia in that metal bikini makes up for all of it. Yeah, that's a positive. Like I said, that I love that whole sequence. I'm all for the from start to finish. That Jabba's barge sequence, amazing. Mike says, hope that he can play Rex in a Disney Plus show, and Boba Fett in a couple of episodes, and if they do an Ahsoka show, he confronts Rex. That'd be nice. I don't think Boba Fett's getting more than one episode, at least not with this season. Now, the question is, does Boba Fett survive? He's got it, right? They can't just bring him back to kill him. I bet it's probably some sort of stalemate, and they go their separate ways. But like, it's going to be interesting. Boba Fett is a bounty hunter. Is Boba Fett hired by Vader? No. He wouldn't be hired by Vader. That's stupid. Scratch that from the record. Who is he hired by? Snoke? Hot take. Boba Fett hired by Snoke. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that happened? Tying it all together. It's called synergy. Oh, Aggressor Relaxing is going to make a reaction video. Excellent. I will blow up if that happens. Actually, I would like to see a Aggressor Relaxing reaction video. I like your comedy stuff, man. It's very funny. Santa says he agrees with Mike Porter. Phasma had a lot of upside potential and was built up a lot but never panned out. Boba Fett was supposed to be a super bounty hunter and went down like a punk. Yeah, but at least he did something. At least he captured Han Solo. At least he finished the job. He got hired. Look, I've always said I'm not the biggest Boba Fett fan, but at least he did what he was supposed to do. He got commissioned to capture Han Solo, and he did. Phasma did nothing. Aggressor Relaxing says, that's the great thing about the Legends books. It might have happened headcanon anyway. Yeah, which is totally cool. Totally cool. Headcanon's a fun thing. And then discussing headcanon with others is fun. As long as you make it fun. It's okay. Look, there's so much out there. And not everybody has read everything. So discussing what you read with other people and telling what you think is your headcanon is fun. As long as you keep it fun. Burke the Nerd is here. Good morning. I'm here, but unfortunately cannot listen because I am in a work meeting. Tomorrow I will be here in my full form. Burke, I apologize to you for having to sit through a meeting. You know, tell them next time to just play the show instead of do the meeting. We'll get some, you know, we could all join in the meeting. Is it Zoom? I'll zoom in. James says he's a hired gun. Why the hell did he stick around for the barge anyway? Job over, get paid, go home. That's true. I don't know, man. Jabba's Palace seems like a cool place to hang out. But yeah. Although I hear, you know what? I'll say this. Boba Fett is hanging out with Jabba. All of a sudden, Luke Skywalker shows up. You got to imagine Jabba then hires Boba Fett to hang around as a personal bodyguard. Because he's just like, I have Luke Skywalker, but maybe I just want a little extra. Extra security. Yeah, well, Santa. Okay, so, but Fett, correct me if I'm wrong. It was Boba Fett who relayed the information to Vader about how to find him, right? Because Fett hid in Slave One and followed the ship, so he knew exactly where he was going. And right, he kept his eyes on the perp and called the cops, right? So, I mean, are we playing semantics here? Come on. If it wasn't for Fett, Vader would have no shot. It was Boba Fett. Look, you're making the guy who doesn't like Boba Fett defend Boba Fett? What is happening today? Yes, Vader planned the trap, but if it wasn't for Fett relaying the information to Vader, none of that would have happened. Right. Yes, Santa. Fett tracked the Falcon in the trash debris and gave it to Vader. Exactly. Jango was better, held his own against Jedi. Boba not so much. Yeah, I would agree with that. Jango Fett kicked ass. That scene on Camino with him and Obi-Wan. Man, Santa's on my case today. Santa. Here, Santa's debunking my entire argument. Vader made the deal with Lando. Pray that I don't alter it any further. Fett didn't catch Solo. Fett tracked him in the Falcon and the trash debris gave him to Vader. I agree. But what I'm saying is that if it wasn't for Boba Fett doing that, that's the catalyst of everything that happened. But you're right in the sense that it would have been cool to see Boba Fett actually catch, you know, the appropriate term of catch. You're right. When you're right, you're right. And I am nothing if not a person who is willing to compromise on an argument and say, you are right, that technically Vader... Well, did anybody actually catch him? They just kind of walked into a meeting room. Here's what I want to know. Answer this question for me. Because maybe this was in the canon. I'll be honest. I was not big on reading some of the newer comic canon. Not just so much at thrown at you so much right away that it just became a little overwhelming. So I didn't read it all. I read a lot of the Vader stuff. Did they do a scene? Did they continue that scene in the comics canon? Yes, Santa, this is exactly where I'm going with this. You are reading my mind. My question has always been, did they sit down and have dinner together? And I feel like in the back of my head, they continued this in the comics. And I if somebody here read the comics, I gotta know. Maybe I gotta ask Josh, I think, when I talk to him. I might be going on his show today, actually, to talk about Rob Liefeld. Oh, I got opinions on Rob Liefeld. But yeah, I always wondered that, Santa. Here's what I want to know: what did they have for dinner when Vader when they brought him into that room? I'm curious too. I mean, it wasn't just a random room. I mean, I know for the show or for the movie, it's just a random room that they had and they filmed it. But it's very funny to think about the fact that they may have just sat down and had a meal together. All right, I think we've talked this to death for sure. Let's move on to. I think we'll make this our last topic. And I'm glad Star Wars Santa is here because I want to get his opinion on this. HBO Max is doing an animated comedy starring Sarah Silverman and Seth Rogen called Santa Inc. So basically, 8 episode half-hour series by executive producer of Shrill and who is also an executive producer on Parks and Rec. So that's great. Basically, Seth Rogen is the successor of Santa in the North Pole, and the twist is that he gets poached by Amazon. So Amazon is now set up to be the leader of toy delivery for Christmas because they hired the next in line for Santa. I think that's a funny idea. And then it's Sarah Silverman's job to save Christmas. Look, if this is an R-rated, I'm very. Let me hold on. Let me see. Does it say adult? It just says animated. Oh, it does. Okay, it says adult animated comedy. So look, if this is in the vein of Sausage Party, I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be that R-rated, but if it's more adult oriented, I think this could be funny. I like Seth Rogen. I think I like the concept. Now we'll see about the execution, but the idea that Amazon is now going to take over and be like the forefront leader for Christmas. I mean, let's be real, they already are. So it's like a nice evolutionary sort of meta step. Yeah, Star Wars Santa says Disney's Noel did a good story that follows that basic idea. Yeah, they did. I saw Noel. I thought it was okay. My biggest issue with Noel was the special effects were just terrible. Just absolutely terrible. And a lot of it threw me out, especially with like the reindeer. A lot of the reindeer stuff. Yeah, Santa's son. Yeah, that's the basic premise. Santa's son doesn't want to take the family business. Noel takes the reins. So it's similar. It's a little twist on it. I mean, there's always been a lot of stories where there was a successor and somebody had to take over. Like, if you saw Arthur Christmas is a very, very underrated Christmas movie. It's an animated movie. If you're going to be doing Christmas in July, or if you can keep that in the back of your head till November, December, definitely check out Arthur Christmas. It's a very fun movie. A lot of controversy in the Santa community. Real bearded Santas like myself over having a female Santa. I mean, it's not traditional, for sure. So they saw Noel and they were not too happy, I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm curious, Santa, did you have an issue with it? I mean, you sound like you thought it had a good story, so I'm guessing that you enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, I would take Anna Kendrick over Sarah Silverman too. But here's what I'll say. It's animated, right? And let's all not pretend that Wreck-It Ralph isn't up there in some of our favorite animated movies. And Sarah Silverman is the lead of that. So I don't disagree that Sarah Silverman can be off-putting, but I would say that as an animated character, I think she does better with that. Even animated, Silver's voice is like finger. So James, you're not a fan of Wreck-It Ralph? He says no. Okay, well, hey. It would be tough to enjoy that movie if you find her voice annoying, for sure. I'm not overly political on this stuff. A movie is just a movie. I don't get worked up over that. And that's the right attitude, Santa. That is the right attitude. All right, that is all that I have today. Thank you all for making a show with very little movie news to be extended out for almost 50 minutes, just hanging out and talking. I really enjoy just getting together in the morning with everybody and talking movies and arguing. And here's the thing. Today, a lot of us disagreed on a lot of Star Wars stuff. And I am so happy that despite the fact that we disagreed on a lot of stuff, we all had a fun conversation. And yes, James, we were adults about it. You know, part of the reason why I do a lot of work with Josh at the Den of Nerds and a lot of work with Trinity over at Second Street Marvel is because we all, at least when it comes to discourse and conversation, we all have the same mentality of it is 100% cool to not have the same opinion, and it's okay to be heated about your opinion. But when you're done having your discussion, understand that it was just a fun exercise in having a discussion. It's not a personal attack on anyone just because you feel differently about a movie. So yes, we were all adults about it, and I'm loving this audience and everybody here that come and hang out in the mornings because I really enjoy having conversations. Look, you guys raked me through the coals this morning, and I don't care. As soon as we're done, I'm going to look forward to the next time we have a conversation. What we learned: Boba Fett was a clone, and Vader had a full dinner set. Did they all sit down and have a full course meal? I'm thinking it was more of like a 6-course meal. Had to have, right? For sure. And I bet Boba Fett didn't eat a thing. Probably never took his helmet off. Probably starving. It's probably so angry, so hungry. Understand, these are fictional characters. Yes, fictional characters. Boonda, good morning. I'm glad you made it. We are just about to wrap up. But thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. Always good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. Heck of a way to meet the father-in-law. Yeah, seriously. If only she knew. The first and only meal with her dad. That's funny. All right, we will be back again tomorrow morning. I will also be announcing tomorrow what this Wednesday's Debate 8 show will be. I will have a graphic all up and ready to announce it. I think you guys will enjoy it. I'll give you a little insight, little taste. If you are a fan of horror movies, you will enjoy this one. Okay, it is. We are doing a horror themed week. I will announce tomorrow during the morning show what our topic is going to be. So until then, until tomorrow, I hope you all have a wonderful Monday. Enjoy your day. Watch some movies if you can. And we will see you tomorrow morning. Have a good one.